have we got this week?
Danny, we've got Danny. Danny Clives. Clives. Like the, people who are called Clive, I suppose. Like a multiple Clives. Multiple Clive.
Yes. How many Clives? There could be a joke in that. How many Clives does it
We're
take?
off.
How many Clives? What do you think?
How many Clives does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Screw. So that could be screw. There's a little bit of a double entendre there.
Yes, absolutely.
Screw in a light bulb. How many Clives?
1. Just me.
Is that funny?
I don't know who's going to that way.
How many Clives does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1, just me. Doesn't land for me, I don't think, that one.
No, I don't think he hasn't kind of quite got the concept of the joke there.
Well, we're off to a rocky start, but that's okay.
That's why I'm here.
Exactly, yes, you are here because you sort of...
I have no idea. I need to be helped.
You need our help, is that right? Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do. There are limits to our... There are limits, aren't there?
There are limits. It's important. It's important to say that because some of these young guys come on here thinking we're going to completely transform, and we do, to be fair.
So there are no limits.
No, not really. So, and he's he brought some jokes along? Yes.
Yes, you've got some. Okay. Well, shall we get into it?
Slim pickings.
This is 5 of the best.
You brought your best jokes. Did you?
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Okay. Well, shall we get started with the first one then?
Do you want me to read it, or are you reading it? How are we doing this?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Clive, if you read it out.
They're your jokes, so you read them.
Can I have the list?
Do you not know your own jokes?
Not in the order.
Okay. First point, then, I would say, know your jokes.
Know your jokes.
Memorise them.
First point I would say is memorise your jokes, because you can't be reading them on stage, can you?
No, absolutely not. You've got to get onto stage, and off you go.
What's wrong with reading them on stage?
I think it belies something.
We are really in at the ground zero on this guy, aren't we? Okay, so Clive, if you want to read your little joke out, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay. The first one. I'm in bad shape. I had a dream the other day I was playing football, and when I woke up, my whole body ached, which was weird, as in the dream I was on the bench. That's the first joke.
Do you say that? That's the first joke.
You say that at the end. You could, if it is the first. Don't say it if it's not the
maybe.
first joke
I was trying to explain to you. There's 5, so that was the first of the 5.
Often I edit out some of the jokes, so you shouldn't say there's 5 in case there's not 5 in the final episode. So say that again, but don't say there's 5 jokes.
What, say the joke again?
No, don't.
You want to hear the joke again?
I'd like to hear the joke again. Yeah, it might be funny.
We'll do it again. Actually, do it again, and this time let's have a bit more
delivery. What do you want from me? How am I going to improve this
joke? What about panache?
Good word.
Right, I'm in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream the other day I was playing football, and when I woke up, my whole body ached.
Right. So my issue with this one, I think, a lot of people don't like football. I read something like 80% of the UK have never watched a football game. So a lot of people are going to be switching. That's almost 2/3 of the population that are just switching off at this point because.
Okay, what's a better sport then?
Tennis, I would say. Everybody loves tennis.
Mm.
And also, you mentioned something about being on the bench. There's no bench in tennis. You're either playing.
that's the reason the football.
You're playing or you're not. So if you change it to tennis, then you can do away with the bench bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's more
succinct. A lot snappier then. A lot more.
So why don't you try that? Let's hear that in your voice. Try it. Change it to tennis, and cut the bench bit.
Okay.
And can I just add in one little thing, that a punchline. Have you thought? Do you know about the punchlines? It's a big thing in comedy.
It's very difficult, isn't it?
Just pop in a little punchline at the end, and we'll.
What about tennis? Or just any punchline?
It works better if it's about tennis because you've introduced that as the subject.
Strawberries, you get those at tennis, don't you? At Wimbledon, anyway.
You do.
What you're seeing here is the process at work.
Because you're quite lucky, really, because not many people get to see this. So this is why you're here. And you don't have a pen. Are you taking notes?
Do I need to write this down?
What are you going to do with the strawberries? I think that's the question that you need to ask yourself. We've given you everything else on a plate.
I just don't know what it's got to do with tennis.
That's the bit.
Isn't it more Pims?
You have No, you definitely have strawberries at tennis. And without your knowledge of these sort of cultural touchstones, I don't really know how far we're going to get.
Is this why the joke won't work?
That's a good point. Cultural touchstones. Have you been to Wimbledon?
No.
Have you ever touched a stone?
I've touched many stones, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a start at least.
Oh, I just remembered actually, I brought the angle grinder to show you.
Oh yes, let's have a look at
There it is. There he is. The beauty.
The,
you going to hold that?
The much talked about.
You going to hold that? There you go.
Can I?
No, because you haven't got the protective.
Don't do that. Okay.
Don't do that. So that's the cutting disc there on the end.
Yes.
Okay. That's the sharp end, literally. That's your motor in there, and then you've got your lithium-ion battery on the end there.
And so, what sort of angles would you grind?
Well, a variety of angles. It's funny because it's actually angle grinding that first got me into comedy.
Is this an advert? Is this an advert for this drill?
Actually, yes, they could be the sponsor for today, couldn't they?
DeWalt.
Hold that up.
And it's a quality piece of kit, actually. No,
it's a DeWalt 18-volt XR lithium ion.
Exactly right.
DeWalt 18-volt XR lithium ion.
Recommended by the Joke Clinic.
That was good. You gave that. You gave that some panache, didn't you?
Thank you.
Which is a callback, I think, isn't it?
You said panache before. So where is the end of this? Where is the end of this joke?
Which is good.
That's quite good.
Very good.
Do you have the time to put the drill down?
So yeah, how I got into it was I used to do angle grinding for the most part, and I got quite bored with the angle grinding.
What's the end? What's
so
the
I
end
just
bit?
take up stand-up comedy. Okay, so Danny, give us another of your jokes.
Shoot.
Okay, I have a drinking problem. Relatable, isn't it?
Should we do a listener letter?
Okay, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Well, right now, after the setup of my
let's do a listener letter. Do you want to do one?
Okay. Yeah.
So these are.
Is it from the drill?
People who have these are people who have written in, fans who have written in.
Fans.
Dear Walter and Charlie. Hi guys.
Hello. I was saying hello to them.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I've got very small feet. Is that a no-no in stand-up? P.S. You guys are brilliant, and I mean brilliant, and I mean brilliant. And that's not just about the feet, actually. That is funny. Ha ha, no worries.
Right, is there a name? There you
go.
No? Okay.
Sounds quite aggressive.
Yes, the tone is strange. Well, I suppose if you've got small feet, it is a bit harder to stand up, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a practical one, this, and we get asked this so often, don't we? And it
comes up.
It's a hard one because you don't want to say
you can't do stand up.
Just give it up, because they probably can stand up for a while.
Well, I've heard even if you lose your little toe, that can affect your balance. So having a whole smaller foot, that's going to surely have quite an impact.
Is this important?
So what are we gonna say to this unnamed correspondent?
Well, first of all, I'd say is put your name at the end of the letter, because then we know how to address you. If you think about it, if you go on stage as a stand-up and you never say your name, at the end they're going to be saying, no matter how good it was, they're going to be saying, who on earth was that?
It's true. and then they've got small feet, and you've lost it, haven't you?
Mm.
They didn't say whether both of their feet were small, actually, did they?
Check.
Check that. They didn't, but I think that's the implication. I've got very small feet.
Some people do have one bigger than the other, though.
Mm.
My right foot is slightly bigger than my left foot.
Mm. And how does that affect your? Does that affect your stand-up?
Not in any discernible way I've noticed.
No, I haven't noticed that either. Seeing you on stage, you seem to manage that quite well.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you.
Off you go. I have a drinking problem. I can't get straws. Go from there.
Do the rest.
Into Capri Suns.
What do you think of that?
Well, you shouldn't be using straws. They're terrible for
the environment.
Wildlife,
They are
aren't they?
bad.
Seabirds particularly.
And it's been, the awareness of that has actually been going on for quite a few years now, so I'm surprised you don't know that.
Mm.
Mm. Well, the problem is the Capri Sun comes with a straw, doesn't it? Am I meant to throw the straw away? What am I doing with the straw?
Well, why don't you go for Coke, which is a really nice soft drink.
Yeah, but it's what do you mean to open a Coke?
Change
Very
it.
easy to open a Coke, though, isn't it?
What you have is you have the power to change these jokes. Don't get rooted. So when Walter says change it to Coke, instead of saying no, why don't you say yes?
Okay, then yes. So where's the problem?
Well, I'll tell you what the problem with this one for me is. I can see what you've tried to do. I can see what you've tried to do. You've tried to do a rule of 3, haven't you? But you've made a very common mistake, which is you've only got 2. You haven't finished it. You've got the drinking problem, you've got the straws into the Capri Suns, and then there's no third one, which is a very common mistake. You need that third one to make the rule of 3. So clue's actually in the name.
If I'm writing it in a rule of 3, I am to blame, but
If we have a rule
We're
of
not
3,
trying to blame you, Danny. We're trying to help.
okay. I find buying clothes online a stressful experience.
I was just going to say I'm a bit hungry actually as well. Have you got any food?
I've got the mini Battenberg. So, but I'll make a cup of tea. I'll be back in a minute.
A mini Battenberg, is that
Fantastic.
the rider for the show?
That's what we like, a mini Battenberg.
I feel like it's quite disrespectful to put a kettle on while we're recording this.
Is it right if I open these?
Yeah, please. Yeah, do. I'm a little bit fascinated by the mini Battenberg. How do you think they do it? How do you think they miniaturise them?
Well, they probably
Is this important?
they probably bake a very large Battenberg, and then they I imagine they put it in a tumble dryer because that often shrinks things, doesn't it?
Okay, yeah, it does.
If you put it on a very high heat and put it in there for a long time, I imagine it turns into this.
Well, that's a fair point, but my next question is why? Why would you do that? Because the Battenberg is a very successful cake. It's got a rich and an impressive history.
A storied history.
Yeah, in the pantheon of cakes.
Do you know any of the stories about Battenbergs?
Ah, von Battenberg. First hero of the First World War, of course.
Is that true?
And then it was like the Duke of Wellington. He invented the
I
Wellington boots.
I think the kettle's done.
Von Battenberg.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no money in miniaturising a cake, is there?
They miniaturise pigs, don't they?
Sorry?
They miniaturise pigs, I said.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I think they do that in a tumble dryer as well.
Shall I do the next joke?
Yeah, always good, aren't they?
Okay. I find buying clothes online a stressful experience.
Shall I do a listener letter?
I'll
do a listener letter. Right.
Another one of these?
In a moment I will.
Yeah.
I might dip it in my tea. Right. This one is named. This one's from Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Dear Walter and Charlie. Oh, it says Dear Walter plus Charlie, actually. So maybe he's doing a maths. A maths thing. Love the Joke Clinic and all of your work. It gives me a reason to get up in the morning. That's nice. The problem is, I have no reason to go to bed. I've been awake for 70 hours watching the Joke Clinic on repeat, and it's now starting to have a serious negative impact on my marriage. Please, can you help me, Mike?
How odd.
Does sound relatable.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, I feel for him actually. That does sound did he say a serious effect on his marriage?
A serious negative impact. He went further than that. He said serious negative impact.
Because I was hoping it would have been it might have been a positive effect on his marriage.
Well, maybe our suggestion should be that it could be a positive effect. What if he was watching it? From the sounds of things, he's not watching it with his partner. So maybe if he did,
could bring them together.
Yes.
Often a TV show, it's a nice thing in a marriage. Actually, I find that.
And people like box sets, don't they?
How long have we got left?
We watched Call the Midwife.
You're an extra.
Shall I do the punchline this time, or shall I try and do the setup again?
I find buying clothes online. That's how it starts.
I find buying clothes online a stressful experience. It looked like they bullied me at school.
Start again, because I had to stop the camera. Let's go again.
Can I have another Battenberg, please?
I'm going to wait till the Battenbergs are finished. I find buying clothes online a stressful experience. It's not like I can't find anything that I like. It's just that all the Adidas clothes are being modelled by people who look like they bullied me at school.
Sugar on my side.
I tell you what I don't know. Have you got any thoughts on this one, Charlie? What he could do with this?
No.
Flip it round. Flip it round. You become the bully.
I am the bully.
You become the bully.
Well,
because nobody wants to see someone on stage that's been bullied. They want to believe in you. Jot that down.
I'm going to write down all these ideas. I think when I leave here, I'm going to shred this piece of paper.
It's been a good day. I think that, in a way, I'm not sure that we've worked on Danny's comedy so much as his sort of his self-worth, his person. And of course, that's at the core of it, isn't it? If you're
need material,
if you're not a
though,
funny guy, you're not a funny comedian.
It has been very helpful.
Maybe we should ask Danny. Do you think we should ask Danny to tell us how he feels he's changed in this hour and a half? You don't, do you? No. Fair enough.
Do you want the rest of this Battenberg?
Oh, no, all right. I'm Battenberged.
I'll have it then, I think. That's all right.
Of course it is.
I'm not Battenberged. I've got a bit of berg left to batten. I'll use that.
Yeah, I do.